all of them out of the way? Should I? I don't know. Why not? I mean, we're going to need all of these. Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast, I guess if that's what you want to call it. I don't know. We've tried to navigate to Suns and Cardinals and other sports because the Diamondbacks don't seem like they're ever going to win another baseball game again. I was told by our GM Saul that I can't do that. So here we are covering the Diamondbacks' 8th loss in a row. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of the city of Phoenix. This man next to me is in charge of all power and utilities in the city. It's Mr. Electric himself, Shawn. Damon is here too, but he doesn't care to talk about baseball at all anymore. His feelings are forever hurt. This game,
dude, this guy Mo.
This game sucks. Oh yeah, but can we ban Mo? Let's ban. I don't even want to look at his face. Get him out of here. Just ban him from the chat. No, I'm joking. Don't really ban him. But anyway, Diamondbacks lose their 8th game in a row. Let's be honest. This one sucked. Merrill Kelly was on the mound for the D-backs
until he wasn't.
And Merrill Kelly was excellent until he wasn't. And let's just ask the question: Will the Diamondbacks ever win a baseball game ever again?
Probably not.
Will they ever win a baseball game?
I don't really have much reason. Will they ever score another run? Like,
I don't know. Will they ever? Will they ever? I don't know. Will they ever find success? Will they ever have good things happen to them?
Will they ever do anything to
suggest
that they actually like their pitchers?
Nothing good happened to them in this game. I think the only thing good that did happen was Merrill Kelly and his outing.
Hey, Scott McGuff's fucking
Scott McGuff,
just athletic play of the century.
Certified athletic play in baseball history.
A better fielder than Cattell.
Probably.
Cattell could make that play.
Probably. I don't know a lot of the infielders right now that could make that play. Maybe Perdomo. I don't know. But, man, this sucks. And when I say this sucks, it's we're at a total loss. Tonight's game seemed like it was very winnable. That's the one thing that sucks about this series because the Dodgers are supposed to be this team right now that is head and shoulders above the Arizona Diamondbacks. And they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. The Diamondbacks are just unable to do anything when these games, both of them, have been so winnable. We talk about yesterday's 5-4 loss and how the Diamondbacks, waited obviously late. They made it exciting, but it was the most Diamondbacks way to lose a baseball game that you could imagine. And tonight they lose 2-0. And again, we can't help but wonder, is nothing good ever going to happen to this baseball team again? It has now been, I believe, 13 games since they hit a home run with at least one runner on base. All their home runs they've hit have been solo shots.
Yeah, sounds about
obviously,
right.
This game, no home runs were hit. We know that. But Merrill Kelly was very good for this team, but he did leave the game in the 7th inning due to injury. And we do have an update for you guys per the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kelly left due to right leg cramping. So it sounds like the D-backs really dodged a major bullet there.
It is definitely when you see the whole the brigade come out, the trainer and Torrey and all the infielders meeting at the center, definitely get concerned. Like it was definitely worrisome. But like you said, definitely seems like a dodger bullet with it being something in his legs. Like you'd obviously much rather always have that than something in his throwing arm.
Oh, absolutely. But he just had the blood clot in his leg, so that's not a great sign. And I'm sure they're going to be cautious with him. So we still don't know if this is going to cause Kelly to miss any more time. But of course, this happens because he was absolutely shoving in this game. Merrill Kelly went out there. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 2. Didn't have his best stuff, but was effective. And even when he was getting himself into jams, he was able to get out of it. I just I don't really. It's so amazing how bad they are on offense right now.
Yeah, it just is like really hard to explain because, like, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who are just out on this team at this point, and I cannot say I blame them.
Not at all.
But like, you can't sit here and seriously think they're like the worst team in baseball. I don't think that is the truth either. Like, this roster is way better than what they have done recently. And so
prove it that they're not the best team, worst team in baseball, because they are absolutely the worst team in baseball.
But they do not have the worst roster in baseball. I don't think that's. I mean, I don't think that's true at all. Like I don't think you can argue that.
I will argue not that it's the worst roster in baseball, but I will argue that all of these guys at this point are still very young, so we have no clue what they really are going to be. Like not, obviously they're nothing's working right? Like the Diamondbacks have, these pieces that they acquired at the trade deadline. Tommy Pham has been atrocious since coming over. Chase Peterson has not been very good. At least Tommy Pham has gotten some hits, right? At least Tommy Pham, it might not. I think he's. Seven. Mo says 7 for 24 in the last 31 games. I forgot. I have a rule. I don't talk to Mo on days that the Diamondbacks played the Dodgers. That's been a standing rule for at least 15 years, and I'm not fucking breaking that just because he's here in the chat on a show that I do. So you, Mr. Troublemaker, can scram because I don't feel like talking to you about the Dodgers. I don't feel like talking about the Dodgers at all. I feel like talking about the Diamondbacks beating themselves. I mean, they went out there and they made Julio Urias look like an absolute fucking stud last night.
Yeah, who's not been that great this year.
Tonight, Bo Miller goes out there and gives up four hits in 6 innings, right?
Yeah,
Outduels
they always
Merrill
have
Kelly.
somebody, dude. They always have a guy. Like they just always show up from somewhere.
Well,
this kid was a first-round pick, but like still.
Last night, at least, the idea here was last night the Diamondbacks got to their bullpen and they were able to actually generate some offense. So we were hoping that same thing would happen here tonight. But no, that's not what happened. The Diamondbacks got absolutely dominated by the Dodgers bullpen, and they got dominated by this man, Joe Kelly, a man who, when pitching in his own backyard, this man dominated the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. When pitching in his own backyard during the pandemic, he's out breaking windows because he literally can't hit the broadside of a barn, but he could strike out 2 in an inning of work against the Arizona Diamondbacks. My God.
Wondering how quarantine's going?
He was learning how to throw a new pitch.
He was throwing a changeup, yeah, sure.
But
he's still smashing windows in his own home.
Yeah, that's tough luck. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about Joe Kelly the way I talk about him in private because I really,
He
really
does. He
like
thinks
Joe
he's awesome. Maze Devil says Torrey should have never called bunt. That is something we were talking about here in the office. Geraldo Perdomo does not seem to effectively.
Yeah.
But and why Perdomo, by the way?
Yeah.
What is it? Because is Perdomo not our risk king? Of all the people with runners in scoring position, we're going to have Perdomo bunt?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. On its face in the situation, I don't have a problem with them bunting. But yeah, I mean, like everyone's saying, having him specifically be the guy that bunt, who A, is good at hitting with runners in scoring position, and B, is bad at bunting. And then C, you put in the context of just, as Damon brought up before the show, like, how often they appear to be trying to bunt and not doing it with much success.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what we're doing there, but at the same time, like, I think you have to be, like, Torrey can't get caught up in how bad, like, I don't know. He can't get caught up in like, what's happened previously and start not trying to manage the game the way that he thinks is best. Like, he can't ignore his gut. That's not, I don't think, a good situation either. So,
yeah.
It's obviously not great, but I don't think it's like the worst thing that he's done as a manager. Like, out of all the things to complain about with Torrey.
What I get the feeling about is that they do not believe in themselves.
Yeah.
At times at the plate. And I'm not saying this is all the time, but I'm starting to feel like Torrey doesn't believe in them at the plate.
No, I mean, it definitely has this kind of manages the way I play the show when I can't score runs, when I'm pitching really well. And I'm like, if I can just get one, like, I think we could probably hold on. But like, yeah, it doesn't really give off a sense of a whole lot of confidence that the offense could, put up runs, plural.
AZ Sports Girl 224 with the absolutely adorable profile picture says Torrey is so desperate to win.
Yeah, man.
And that's part of the feeling here. I don't feel like Torrey's the only one, though. I feel like the desperation is running throughout this team. And what's odd is, the pitching hasn't been perfect. Brandon Pfaadt was not very good yesterday. Miguel Castro comes in and gives up that one run that ended up being very crucial in yesterday's game. In this game, we had Kyle Nelson not be effective at all, giving up 2 runs in his inning, not even an inning of work. I mean, he didn't get a single out. He gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, and walked 2. So not a great outing by Kyle Nelson. Kyle Nelson, it takes the loss on this one, and rightfully so. Everybody else was essentially able to come in and do their job, including Kevin Ginkel, which we can't say enough about because Kevin Ginkel is absolutely, when you talk about that guy that Torrey needs to rely on right now, Kevin Ginkel needs to continue to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and that was another thing that a lot of people in the chat were criticizing Torrey for, was taking Ginkel out for Nelson, just based on the matchup. Again, I don't have a huge problem with it because it is the matchup. Like, I don't. It's how managers manage. But again,
it's not different than any other MLB manager. But at the same time, you went from a guy like you went from a guy that was dealing to like that. That's like some of the only times that Torrey does that. But if Kevin Ginkel was out there letting the bases get loaded, I don't know if Torrey goes out there and takes him out of the game. Torrey leaves him in there to kind of work it out or whatever.
It's just there's a lot of decisions that I think, like, you know, in a vacuum are not that bad, but you put them all together and it's just a lot of things that are a little questionable.
Yeah.
Again, I am not inclined to come at Torrey as hard as a lot of people want to, but at the same time, I'm getting real.
He's not free of blame.
No, and also, like, this is professional sports. This is how this shit works. You're the head coach, you're the manager, whatever. Like, you're gonna be responsible, and if something needs to change, like, it's gonna be you. It has to be you. So, like, this can't happen much longer, because if they do this for the rest of the season, he should lose his job. Like, I don't care about an extension or fucking anything. If they play like this and they win fucking 3 more games over the second half of the year, enjoy your severance. Like, enjoy your time off. You shouldn't be managing this team.
There's something interesting that Brent Strom said a while back as far as, like, analytics go. And Brent Strom is a big fan of analytics, but he's also a big fan of incorporating analytics into your kind of, you know, managing scheme, but not letting every decision be dictated by analytics, right? And I think Benjamin Hunley in the chat said Dave Roberts left Peralta in when it was lefty on lefty. In a big situation he came through. I specifically remember Lovello pinching for Peralta in those same situations. You're absolutely right. And that's those cases where, you know, the analytics overpower things like momentum and who's hot right now and things like that. And I don't know what to tell you, but at this point, that you can't disregard that kind of stuff, and that is probably one of the biggest criticisms that Torrey deserves at times, which is sticking with his game plan that he set up a month ago instead of changing things at times. Today, he talked about pregame that the reason why his lineup was different, the reason why Corbin was hitting leadoff and everything else was because he feels like he has been stuck too much in his ways in the past, and he feels like he should. If the team is struggling the way they are, that he should try something new. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, baseball, we've talked already about Torrey not really being a guy that puts out the same lineup out there day in and day out. So for him to say, like, well, I'm trying something crazy because obviously what I've been doing isn't working, seems it's on brand. Like, doesn't really seem too different from what we've already seen from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's concerning because it's like, do what you've always done and it's not working. You try every other thing and it's also not working. Like, at this point, I think it's bigger than any of these individual decisions that Torrey or anybody is making, which is part of why I'm not inclined not to. I mean, not necessarily not to not blame him, but, like, as far as these individual things that are happening in games, like, that does not have anything to do with the fact that Christian Walker doesn't know how to hit a ball anymore, that Corbin Carroll has forgotten how to hit a ball. Like, those things have nothing to do with Torrey's individual decisions. So, like, it does feel like the fact that everything is going wrong feels like it is something bigger, like there is a plague of some sort in the clubhouse, which, again, ultimately that does come down to the manager, but the individual small things, like, fucking who cares? Like, not who cares, but everything sucks. Everything is going wrong. So to sit here and, like, nitpick over individual things that, like, Torrey pulling this pitcher here, like, it's fucking, like, okay, they didn't score any runs though. So, like, who cares what pitchers he puts in there? They're not scoring.
B says, someone say something encouraging.
The season's day by day, it's closer to being over.
Is there any optimism to be had? I'm sorry, Bees. We're all out of optimism.
The Padres
right
lost
now.
today, so that's good.
Like
that's the thing. Like they're still there. They're
the
still
Cubs
in it.
and Reds lost. Yeah,
They're still in it, which isn't. They don't deserve it. If they make the playoffs, this team does not fucking deserve to be in this race, let alone make the playoffs. And that shit's gonna be like if they back their way in just to get their ass embarrassed. That's gonna suck too.
We had a couple of super chats. Damon, would you mind pulling those up for me, please? Piece of Yoshi, thank you so much. Says Perdomo has defiled my sacred bunt, and I'm angry. I understand. I understand.
That was a pretty embarrassing bunt.
That was an embarrassing bunt. Chris C says, at this point, Derek, you will have about 15 more Roosevelt shirts in your closet than the Diamondbacks will have wins by the end of the season. I do own 83 of these shirts, so the Diamondbacks would, in fact, need to have a winning record in order to match my shirt total.
We're not getting 80.
And I mean, I might get another shipment before the end of the year. I'm just saying. So good luck with that. I'm taking the over on Derek's shirts when it comes to that.
100%.
Thank you guys very much for the super chat. Oh, and a Dodgers fan comes in here to tell us Dodgers own you. I mean, Dodgers don't own us. We own ourselves. And also, we're terrible without your help.
Also,
in fact,
Los Dodgers World Series champs is if you haven't only won one World Series and like the entire time any of us have been alive.
Don't
like. I mean, making that your whole brand is kind of weird.
Don't make us bring up the asterisk.
It makes it kind of weird. But even aside from that, they spend more money than anybody in baseball. They have one fucking ring to show for it. Go fuck yourselves. Respectfully.
We're emotional.
With the utmost respect, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Honestly, I don't really know at this point. We'll do a king snake, I guess, because Merrill Kelly absolutely deserves to be the king snake. I wanted
Scott McGuff.
He did. Scott McGuff also
just for that one out.
Scott McGuff deserved. I mean, we could have given it to anybody because nobody on offense really earned it, so it had to be a pitcher. But Merrill Kelly went out there, shoved 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no runs, and of course, we hope that whatever happened there with his with the cramping in the game just has to do with obviously his the heat and other things going on. I mean, he was incredible in this game. So, but yeah, Cog says I think the chat needs a beer. I don't know.
Got a few here for
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I opened.
Cogs, you're not old enough to drink a beer.
Yeah, no shit, Cogs.
Thank you. See, these. I love fans from other teams that are just good. Like he came in, he talked his shit, I talked my shit back, and he said GG's. And I appreciate that, man. Like that's how we should be.
That's what we do.
Let's talk our shit and then shake hands with you.
Is this where I'm supposed to tell Mo to go fuck himself? Because
yeah, go fuck yourself, Mo.
Go fuck yourself, Mo. Yeah, respectfully. We're swinging wild because we're just upset. So now is a bad time to like be here in our wheelhouse right now. Like, I mean, whatever. But I will say that, of course, we thank you guys, whether you're a Dodgers fan, whether you're a Giants fan, whether you're a D-backs fan, no matter who you are, we love you and we thank you for being here in the chat right now. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, do it just for trolling purposes, maybe, or whatever. I don't care. But subscribe, hang out with us, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss one of the other shows that you can control live. And also listen to us on the audio podcasting side. Most importantly, even if you're here to troll us, you have to leave us a thumbs up. Yes. Them's the rules. But
that's the toll.
Again, on the audio podcasting side, subscribe over there. Leave us a review. We always appreciate the feedback. If you haven't joined the PHNX family yet, join us over here. Become a diehard. Get all sorts of wonderful stuff. But let's be honest, the membership pays for itself right out of the gate. Then you get all sorts of wonderful benefits. And when I say that, I mean you go to gophnx.com, you sign up to become a diehard, you get yourself a free piece of merchandise from the PHNX locker, you get yourself a gift certificate for Mountain Mike's Pizza for $50, you get yourself a Dobson Ranch card, and so much more. Pays for itself right away. And then you also have all the wonderful content around here. We're giving you exclusive on-field interviews with Torey Lovullo and players. We're going to actually have a thing in our Discord, which, again, is the best place to be an Arizona sports fan, where we let you guys ask the questions to the players. So you guys, we will be merely your vessel for you to ask your questions through, and we will get Jake McCarthy and Corbin Carroll and all of your favorite players to answer your questions for us. So make sure to sign up to become a diehard so you get down on that. Also, you get members-only discounts with our partners, members-only merchandise, members-only invites to events, and so much more. You also get Jesse's newsletter, Full Count, which this week, of course, riled some feathers because Jesse's writing about Paul Sewald being the answer for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Can't answer if we can't fucking play him.
Yeah, he's gonna play 6 times for the rest of the season.
That's gonna be so tragic.
Yeah, it really is. But we thank you guys again for already signing up. For those of you that have become part of the family. And whether you're diehard or not a diehard, we look forward to seeing you guys out at the TakeOver event on Saturday. Thank you again for selling it out. The throwback jerseys go crazy. We saw the throwback purple and teal helmets, batting helmets in the clubhouse.
I didn't see those.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Oh my God.
All I'm saying is if there is one thing powerful enough
they're beautiful
to bust this team out of the streak, it's the fucking purple and teal.
It
you
is.
know that for damn sure.
Like,
and if
so
they don't
much
do it,
so-
that like I know I've kind of kept kicking the can of calling them like official, like pronouncing time of death for this team. If they lose,
I already did it.
If they lose in the fucking red and then the purple and teals, it is over.
It's like putting on Spider-Man's costume and then not fighting crime.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You can't put that on and not win.
I think the throwback colors are like literally the only thing that could save this
No,
fan base
at this
point.
yeah, no, 100%. Like,
do you just go, like, do you just say fuck it and then just go throwbacks the rest of the year at that point?
if you have any fucking self-respect, you do. I also
you call someone at the league office and you make that change immediately, right?
You do what you got. You just wear them. Until Rob Manfred comes down and physically prevents you from taking the field in them, you wear them.
You have to stop us from wearing these jerseys. Well, you also have to stop us from betting on the BetMGM.
Oh, because I did that. I bet on the Arizona Diamondbacks today.
Yeah, he did like a fool. Not only that, but when he pulled up his app to show me, he had 12 active bets that were going on right now. Is that
what the
right?
fuck are we doing here?
Am I just?
What are we doing? Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of futures.
I get it.
It's a lot of futures.
I don't believe you, but I get it. But there's a lot of fun to be had on the BetMGM Sportsbook app, which is why he's doing that. So make sure to get down.
I'll be back on Friday betting on them.
Get down the Nerfy Fridays on Friday.
Saturday I'm going to bet on them too. I'm
Right.
going to keep doing it. They're going to win another game eventually.
Nerfies, no run, first inning bet. You get down on the BetMGM Sportsbook. MGM Sports users can get this promotion by opting in and then placing a no-run first inning bet on any Major League Baseball game. Bet no on will there be a run in the first inning. Like tonight, was there a run in the first inning? No, there wasn't. So you would have won money. And if you don't win money, you'll get your money back. And that's up to $25. If your bet loses but only one run is scored during the inning, you will receive a bonus bet equaling your stake up to $25. This is available only on Fridays. But keep it locked to the app because like we told you last Friday, they bumped that insurance up to $50. So we got down on the Nerfy bets for $50 and made ourselves a little bit of cash. So make sure you do the same. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and you will receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
93.
Ontario. 93 of you in the chat. Smash that friggin' like button.
Smash that like button. Thank you guys so much for being here.
I should start saying frickin' more. Because I swear, probably too much. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you think it's too much, go fuck yourself. But I probably swear too much. Frickin' is more fun.
Mildred from Twitter blocked me on Twitter because of how much I curse on this program.
Oh, man. You won't like me.
Would like to sincerely fucking apologize to Mildred right now. I feel really fucking bad about that. But let's take a look at the numbers for this 2-game series that the Diamondbacks get swept in because why not? Let's take a look.
Why not?
0.00.
Look at the numbers. That's why not. We didn't need to look at these.
Oh, why did we do this?
This team sucks.
Why?
The Dodgers don't. That's all we need to know. They didn't get a single run off a starting pitcher. I mean, again, it's a 2-game series, but still.
Yeah. 3.38 starting pitching ERA is not terrible by the Diamondbacks, but pales in
there's a
comparison to a 0.00 ERA. The bullpen, they won that one. At least they win that category, right? A little bit of a better bullpen than the Dodgers, but not really. This was just because all the Diamondbacks' damage in Game 1 was against the bullpen. Runners in scoring position, once again, atrocious for the Diamondbacks. It's this last one that really bothers me.
Yeah.
Losing the stolen bases race in a 2-game series 2-1. And having Tommy Pham get caught. So the Dodgers even went 2 for 2 and the Diamondbacks went 1 for 2.
Well, we caught somebody stealing today.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And one of the worst missed calls I've seen in my worst missed call I have seen in my entire life of watching baseball happened today on that miss.
It was egregious. It was an egregiously missed call. And I mean, again, at least the home plate umpire was much better tonight than what the Diamondbacks have experienced lately. But
I mean, that was just like an unexcusable missed call, which I mean, we got replays, so it ultimately didn't matter. But like, that was crazy to me.
No, yeah, it really was. Like, it was such a bad call. And then they showed it on the replay, and he was out by a mile. And I mean, if I'm being honest, like, the umpire is one of the
Chris Taylor.
Yeah, Chris Taylor. Thank you, Mo. Fuck yourself. It was one of the things that feels like it's gone so wrong.
Hey, ES needs to get that out of here. This is talking about how this is the Dodgers retooling year. Go away. Go away. You're right, and it's disgusting.
It doesn't matter if I got picked up by the Dodgers right now, I'd have a 750 OPS.
100%.
That's the way it works, and I can't explain it. Lance Lynn. Are we going to talk about Lance Lynn?
No.
This man has a reminder in his goddamn cell phone to go back at the end of the season and review Lance Lynn's stats with the Dodgers. Why? Because we know it's going to be fucking hilarious. The man's given up 2 earned runs in 12 innings, 12 in the third innings pitch. I don't even know. But atrocious with the White Sox, which, as we know, is a terrible organization. By the way, in one of the most petty moves we've ever seen, tonight the White Sox were playing the Yankees.
Oh, my God.
Keenan Middleton plays for the Yankees now, and as we discussed the other day, he was the person that had those comments about the White Sox organization being ran so poorly. And the White Sox were so petty that they decided not to put his name up on the scoreboard,
like
when he was in as a relief pitcher.
It's the fucking smoking gun in my eyes.
Grow up,
like you're that fucking petty, but you were supposed to sit here and believe that you got a good culture.
Oh, he's wrong.
Like, come on now,
get
over it.
Dude,
let's start cheating. Let's start doing steroids. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says legalize steroids.
Like, as a podcast, I don't know how that's gonna help the team.
I mean, if we start walking in the club, if we walk in the clubhouse and we're fucking juiced,
just yoked out,
we are professional baseball players and we're shrimps compared to these guys. We need to start hitting the fucking gym.
Why are the journalists?
Maybe Geraldo Perdomo's pop flies won't land 5 feet shy of the warning track.
You're onto something. I like it. See, these are the kind of ideas that we get, like, free flowing when Jesse's not here, because he's here to bring us back down to reality. He's here to always give us stats and to make us more reasonable. And who wants to be reasonable right now? I don't. God damn it! I am furious.
Oh my God,
See,
terrifying.
Look, you hit the table all the time. That was just once for me, but I think that I feel better.
You deserve it.
I do. I do feel better. Speaking of Jesse Friedman, he is here joining us now from Chase Field, and we have so many questions for Jesse. Jesse, welcome in. First of all, this is another loss that you could describe as hilarious, but other people wouldn't find to be so funny. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, there is a certain level of comedy involved. I guess at some point, I think maybe some fans have gotten to that point where you laugh instead of cry.
Yeah.
Right. That's a way of making yourself feel better about what the Arizona Diamondbacks are, what is happening to this baseball team right now. But yeah, I mean, it is just a tough one all the way around, right? The Diamondbacks had multiple opportunities in this game with 2 on, nobody out. They had second and third, nobody out. I believe that was in the 5th inning. Strikeout, line out, strikeout. Yeah, that was with the top of the lineup. That was Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte and Lourdes Gurriel. They're not able to come through. A couple innings later, they have first and second, nobody out. Geraldo Perdomo tries to lay down a bunt, and he pops it up back to the pitcher. It turns into a double play. It was obviously a poor decision on his part. Caleb Ferguson threw him a fastball that was, well above the strike zone. Not the kind of pitch you want to be bunting on. But he couldn't take it back, or chose not to take it back, and tried to get the bunt down and pops it back up to the pitcher. And at the same time, both Diamondbacks base runners on that play were overly aggressive. That's something that Torey Lovullo just talked about after this game ended. It wasn't all on Perdomo, although I think he probably takes the lion's share of the blame there. But those base runners, shouldn't be so incredibly far off. Alek Thomas was a complete dead duck trying to get his way back into second. So, yeah, all the way around, just another game where the Diamondbacks had some opportunities right in front of them, and they couldn't capitalize. And then, the Dodgers, they scored both of their runs in the 8th inning when, Kyle Nelson comes in with the bases empty and 2 outs, and the Dodgers make something out of nothing when the Diamondbacks made nothing out of something. And that's just kind of how things are going for this baseball team right now.
When David Peralta was the one to strike, it just, I think somebody in our chat said, like, it's scripted. Like, it felt absurd, just like it felt absurd that David Peralta was the one to make that play yesterday to rob Carson Kelly of a home run when we have rarely seen David Peralta make a catch that athletic in the outfield. It's not to say, I said yesterday that was the best play we've ever seen him make at Chase Field.
And he won a Gold Glove, right? He was a decent left
I'm being facetious about that, but it definitely would probably be in his highlight reel of his top 10 plays that he's ever made here at Chase Field. And that was fairly important, all things considered, just like Miguel Castro giving up the run late was fairly important. Tonight, though, it just seemed like nothing they could do would go their way. Like you said, you brought up the Geraldo Perdomo situation. Like that bunt for a double play was one of the worst outcomes that you could have drawn up. And honestly,
it basically was the worst. Honestly, though, like he might, like if the Dodgers had really went for it, which I think they took a more conservative route, they might have been able to turn a triple play on that.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
It was first and second, nobody out. Alek Thomas wasn't even close at second base.
I would not have been able to
who was
take
on
that.
first, but yeah, like that actually could have happened. That's how egregious that a mistake that was on the Diamondbacks' part. Not only with Perdomo's bunt, but with both of those base runners being as far off the bases as they were.
Yams G in the chat says, are we going to have a discussion on what the hell happened to Corbin's bat? And yeah, it does feel like ever since Corbin kind of converted over to the two-handed swing after that injury scare, that we really have seen him struggling. And when I say struggling, I just mean his hits just keep coming up just short. We saw a couple of really well-hit balls today that were just driven right at a defender or, again, just kind of fell short of being able to do some damage. And it really does feel like Corbin has kind of been struggling at the plate since that, like I said, that injury scare.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Corbin is really, before the whole shoulder thing happened, I think he did have a two-handed follow-through sometimes. And from what I can tell now, he still is kind of splitting it where he does have a two-handed follow-through sometimes.
We've seen that a couple of times.
Sometimes it's just the one hand. So I'm not really sure to what degree he's actually made changes. But
Torey did confirm that he was having that they were trying to keep him with the two-handed follow-through in one of his media sessions. But again, that might kind of be a bit like Alek Thomas's mechanics, where we kind of see him going back to it. And honestly, especially when it comes to results, you can only wonder how long until Corbin Carroll wants to swing the way that he does swing, instead of trying to do anything that they might be trying to do to keep him from getting injured.
Yeah, I think it's maybe possible that they were like heavily emphasizing that initially, and since then have kind of backed off and allowed him to sort of do what he wanted to do. But regardless, yeah, it's true. Corbin Carroll has not really been as much of a factor in this offense in recent days. And, he hit a couple of hard liners early in this game that very easily could have gone for hits that didn't. But at the same time, in those big spots in the games, that's really when the Diamondbacks need Corbin's bat to come awake, and that hasn't really happened. He strikes out on a pitch that bounced, well in front of the plate today. I believe late in that game, he was the first guy to hit with second and third and nobody out, and wasn't able to come through in that spot. So obviously he's not the only one, though. I mean, the Diamondbacks didn't have a hit with runners in scoring position, which just kind of seems to be par for the course. Like, this is just sort of the deal. Like, the Diamondbacks go 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position every day. And, you feel like if you get a couple hits with runners in scoring position, that's more the exception than the rule right now.
Hey, Damon, this question's for you and not Jesse. If we ban Mo in the chat, is he banned forever? Or is it just like a temporary ban for this episode?
I think it's just for one episode.
Okay, I just needed to make sure
It might be forever.
I honestly don't know.
Jesse Mo's in
So
here
that
causing trouble.
That means ban him, right?
Yeah,
Is that
right.
what I just
It
heard?
was just one episode. I feel like we should ban him.
I can put him in timeout.
You can put him in timeout?
Put him in timeout.
Okay, we can put him in timeout.
Just
We'll figure it
know,
out.
Mo.
Yeah, we're not
step wrong again. I'm gonna put you in timeout.
We're not actually going to do it because we don't do it to anybody, but we're considering it.
We
can. And just remember that. Speaking of can, I know Jesse's going to hate this because he's here, and I usually let him go before I do my ad reads. But Jesse, Circle K, the best. Jesse knows. Jesse knows Circle K is the best. Jesse loves the Circle K branded snacks. We can't get enough of them. And of course, we know that if you are on your way to Chase Field, especially for our takeover this Saturday, you need to pick up some snacks because you're coming out there for the throwback jersey giveaway, and you're going to have to wait a very long time, most likely, in the very hot sun. So make sure to stop by Circle K on your way out there. They have the best coffee, beer, and snack selection, premium gas, and of course, they have the Polar Pops that stay cold longer. So make sure to fuel up and grab yourself a cold drink before coming out here to Chase Field. Also, they have Powerades 4 for $5, and that also gets you entered into an opportunity to be one of 10 finalists to win a 2023 Ford Big Ben Bronco SUV. But we have some clarification on this. Now, apparently, you have to fight Damon first before you fight Shawn. And then the winner of the Damon versus you battle then takes on Shawn in the final.
Yeah, it's been Damon's dream car this whole time, and he just hasn't said anything about it.
But I never heard him talk about it one time.
Oh,
I've never heard you talk about it one time. But now he's on your corner talking about your dream car is his dream car.
All I need is a shot.
All I know is Shawn's been talking about that car for a very long time. That's all I know. But you have to fight our show, basically, to win the car. And if you fight these guys and win it, then you have to drive me around. So I don't know how good of a win this might be, but you do get a 2023 Ford Big Ben Bronco SUV. So that's pretty good.
Prison rules, Pedro.
Prison rules. Buy two, get one free Monster Energy drinks at Circle K, by the way. And buy two, get one free Beatbox Hard Tea. So don't miss out. Make sure you text right now to PHNX 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Again, that's text PHNX to 31310, and you will get down on the Circle K SMS subscriber club. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. And of course, while you're there, pick up the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks. That is the Rattle On Red Ale from our friends at Four Peaks. And I am getting over this loss with a lot of Four Peaks, Jesse. As you can see, none of these are for Shawn. These are all for Derek. These are all Dare's beers. And I really enjoy this Holmberg bound. This is a collaboration with 98 KUPD, our friends over there at Arizona's Rock Station. And of course, they have all sorts of specialty beers at the 8th Street Pub. So make sure to check out what they got down there. Of course, at Chase Field, we will be meeting at the Four Peaks Draft Room this Saturday for our takeover event. It's located on the suite level. And of course, this is wonderful food to be had, wonderful view, wonderful friends, all sorts of great stuff going on. So make sure to join us for that takeover event. Tickets are sold out. So if you haven't had a ticket, if you don't have a ticket, sorry about that. But text us, DM us through PHNX _D-backs on Twitter, and we'll make sure to still meet up with everybody because we are very excited about the takeover event this weekend. Of course, you can follow Four Peaks at fourpeaks.com/events to stay up to date on everything Four Peaks related. Of course, follow them on social media at Four Peaks Brewer, Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. We get past, Jesse, this series with the Dodgers, which definitely didn't go our way, but it felt at times like it could have. And we turn to this series coming up with the San Diego Padres coming to town. What are your thoughts, and have there been any updates on the probables for this series?
We don't have starters for the weekend yet. I guess we'll sort of find out here in the next 24 hours or so as the Diamondbacks make those decisions. But I do want to. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Torrey did say that Slade Ciccone was available for this series against the Dodgers out of the bullpen, but they never utilized him. And then he did say that could determine how he gets used in the series against the Dodgers. So I guess just speculating, do you think we'll see Slade start, or do you think they'll just kind of pass his role in the starting rotation, or his turn in the rotation?
Yeah, I think it's totally possible. I don't know for sure. Shawn is just absolutely dying.
Yeah,
and I have no idea why.
Do you want
enlighten us, Shawn?
No, I wear my Apple Watch, and fucking Shane starts walkie-talking me out of nowhere, and so I hear this like, boop, and I hear this voice coming from somewhere. I'm like, what the hell?
Shane, we're doing a goddamn show. Leave Shawn alone.
I texted him and I was like, did you just walkie me? And then he did it again, and he's just like, help me. And so I threw my watch, and then my watch was on the other side of the room, and he starts doing it again so I can hear him. So Damon walked my watch out of the room.
The watch has been thrown out of the studio.
Jesse just hit you with his best teacher version of, oh, what's so funny when you get to his class?
He really
we passing notes,
He was
Shawn?
so
Is that
good
what
at
we're
it
doing?
too. It was incredible. Oh my god. Yeah.
Anyway, where were
Sorry.
we?
We were talking about Slade starting. Do you think Slade's going to start for the Diamondbacks at all, or do you think they're going to pass up his turn in the rotation essentially, and how that's going to go?
I mean, this man has been on the active roster for a while at this point, and he hasn't actually pitched in quite a while, right? I believe Slade started the Wednesday game of last week, if I'm not mistaken. And that would, because it was a night game, so it wouldn't have been the Thursday afternoon finale if my brain is functioning properly right now. So, I mean, he hasn't pitched in a week already. So I would think the Diamondbacks would want to get Slade some work in here pretty soon. He's definitely a candidate to start the Friday game. It is interesting that the Diamondbacks have kind of avoided starting him up until this point, and we're clearly willing to use him out of the bullpen in this series if they needed to. I think he's sort of a depth option, an option that maybe they would like to not have to use if they don't have to. But yeah, we'll see. He's definitely available and would be an option for this weekend. I do want to give a quick update on Merrill Kelly as well.
Oh yeah,
who left this game in the 7th inning. It was a hamstring cramp, is what we were told after the game. Okay. I think during the game, the official announcement was just his leg in general, but he clarified it was a hamstring. He did say that his calf hurt on some warm-up tosses starting that 7th inning, and he was trying to pitch through it, and eventually it was his hamstring that ultimately got him out of the game. But no real level of concern here. Torrey said that there's no imaging that's been done. He says he does expect Merrill to make his next start. So I don't think there's much to this. It sounds like just cramping, unrelated to Merrill's issue with his calf, right? Yeah. The whole blood clot situation.
Yeah. That's what I was worried about, because obviously,
it was the same. It was the same leg. Yeah. So doctors said that they don't think it's related at all. Merrill talks about how it felt warm at Chase Field, which I think I might have seen some people talking about in the comments as well. Might have seen people on TV fanning themselves or whatever. I thought it was maybe a little warmer than normal. They announced 78 degrees inside at first pitch, which is
it was the humidity, the little amount of rain mixed with how hot it is right now is just causing it to be miserable. But Merrill,
what rain are you speaking of?
Oh,
did it rain?
No, it spit on my house, Jesse. So I know it rained a little bit in this town, but I just don't know where. Merrill also complained about the heat the last time he pitched at Chase Field as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. He talked about it a little bit after the game. He was talking about how if it's 115 outside, maybe it's hard to cool off the metal box entirely. But he is definitely aware of it. He thinks it's been a little warmer in Chase Field than he's used to it being.
He's not fucking wrong. It's not a mystery. It's the hottest summer fucking known to mankind on the earth, on the planet Earth.
That's fair.
He's not coming up with any new information.
Yeah, he did talk about how he just sweats profusely, apparently. Just sweats far more than the average human being.
Can relate. I
and,
also sweat a lot.
Yeah, so he's just sort of one of those people, and I think the heat might have, played a role in the cramping that ultimately led to him being removed from the game. But as of right now, it sounds like he's fine and should make his next start.
His stubness said in the chat, the Dodgers sweep and they aren't head and shoulders above. How far do you need to be impressed enough to get the job done? Games won. I'm not saying the Dodgers didn't take care of business. I'm saying the Diamondbacks, with the way they're playing right now, had no business being as close in these games as they were. Yeah. The Dodgers should have actually blown the Diamondbacks out, and that would have felt a little differently. I think the frustrating thing from a Diamondbacks perspective is that this Dodgers team is supposed to be so much better, and the Diamondbacks really did hang with them, yet they couldn't generate even enough offense to give them any kind of lead in a 0-0 game. They couldn't generate enough offense in last night's game to come back. And even when they did, the bullpen still blew the game just enough for them to still lose it, right? So, like, this 2-game series was very frustrating based on how close it was. And I didn't feel the same way about the Twins series, where the Diamondbacks just lost in all sorts of spectacular fashions, heartbreaking fashions, close fashions, blowout fashion. Like that 3-game series, that it's like you got the full show of the disappointment that we're going through and watching this team right now. But this might even be more disappointing because of how close it was and how winnable at times these 2 games both felt, right? So for a team that's lost 8 in a row, it's pretty fucking miserable. And honestly, I think I would have rather have just been completely blown out, but then having both of these games be as close so much, like that's the part that's frustrating. When they're this close, you really do start to question the little things that went wrong, some of those managerial decisions, bringing Kyle Nelson in the game, bunting with that or with Geraldo Perdomo and 2 on, like those are questionable only because this game was as close as it was. If it was a blowout, then it's ridiculous for you to sit there and nitpick at some of the smaller runs when the Diamondbacks, if they lose 10-0, they're they weren't even close, right? A 2-0 ball game that really came down to one relief pitcher not being able to be effective at all, and the Diamondbacks really not being able to generate anything offensively throughout this game really felt like the epitome of how frustrating this is right now. Everything that the Diamondbacks do, I mean, you had shots to the wall, to the warning track that just got
they did have some hard hit balls earlier.
They just had a lot of things that just went in a really bad direction for them, and I don't really know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm starting to feel a bit myself like Tori, right? Where you're just like, I don't know. When are they going to win a game again, Jesse? I don't know. I don't know. But I will say we do have Dick Mountain against the Diamondbacks on Saturday. And not only will the puns be rich, but maybe the Diamondbacks can get things going against him. I don't know. The reason we're feeling excited is because of the throwback jerseys. And apparently the Diamondbacks are going to wear the throwback jerseys themselves for all 3 games in that series against the Padres.
Yeah. We just saw them in the clubhouse.
They're sick.
They were lovely. Yeah.
They're sick. You and I saw the batting helmets get brought in earlier, and they were a sight to behold.
Yeah. I mean, that's exciting this weekend, right? That should get some people out to the ballpark. I guess. I mean, fans are showing up. They had about 30,000 here yesterday. I think today was around 28. Granted, there's a heck of a lot of Dodger blue in this building, so do with those numbers what you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unfortunately for the Diamondbacks, you're not getting much relief this weekend with the San Diego Padres coming into town. I know they're in the midst of a little losing streak right now, but they've been playing better baseball at large. And, some of those hitters are starting to get hot. You're starting to see Manny Machado look a little more like himself. Juan Soto is having a very typical Juan Soto season at this point. It's crazy that not that long ago, people were talking about Juan Soto having, this big down year and just not at all looking like himself, and the Padres overpaid and all these things. Juan Soto has just absolutely been himself. So the Diamondbacks really could use a series against, the Rockies or the Royals or some team like that. I guess they're getting the Rockies next week, but they've got another tough one this weekend before we get there.
In the chat, Pedro said, "Gotta climb that mountain, boys." Damon, I think you know what that means. The Diamondbacks are now 1 game below 500, so they're not climbing up the mountain. They're going the other way. Like, we made that, and it upsets me so much, and yet I still call for it. So often, I don't know what's wrong with me. We were talking about being masochists. We were talking about how you guys are masochists for being here right now in this show after watching this team lose yet again. And we love you for it because this is what we do. We are here to let you know that your feelings at times of being completely lost with this team, you're not alone. We all have no idea what to do about this team right now. Mike Hazen was on an elevator today, and when I was almost going to get on it, the look of sadness and regret at seeing me said it all. You know what he didn't want to do?
We all feel that way. We've all been there, right? Derek?
I know. Yeah. Everybody has that same look when they see me, Jesse, but let me tell you, it was like times 10 with Mike today. He was like, "Oh shit, here we go." And I was like, "Look, I'll just catch another elevator. Like, that's how we're going to do this." But it's because nobody has answers right now. And I mean, Mike Hazen himself was on Arizona Sports 98.7. He talked about like feeling responsible. He talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that he said was like he feels like he didn't make the right moves, and he didn't really do enough to make this team better. And like, we talk about Torey Lovullo assuming the blame, we talk about the front office assuming the blame, but there just has to be a point where we have to wonder why the guys on the field aren't able to do it, and not necessarily just blame the people that put them on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, at the end of the day, like Torey Lovullo can't make Geraldo Perdomo lay down, an actual bunt. This is the second time that's happened. That happened,
Sure.
I believe, in the last like 5 days, where Perdomo came up with runners in scoring position and he tried to lay down a bunt and he popped it up back to the mound. Those kinds of things just can't happen. And Torey has been a little bit more animated of late, I think, in talking, pointing out things that guys are doing that are, a little bit half-hearted. There was another play in yesterday's game that we didn't really talk about where Lourdes Gurriel kind of cut in front of Corbin Carroll on a fly ball, and he delivered a throw to home plate that was very wild. But beyond that, a lot of the Diamondbacks infielders on that play were just kind of
out
all
of position.
Over the place.
Yeah.
They were, very much.
Brandon Pfaadt wasn't backing things up at home plate. I think Torey said that pissed him off, and he did not mince words about that. He said that pissed him off. And even when asked if there was something more that they could have done to keep that from going that way, he didn't really think the end results could have been different, right? Like, he basically made it sound like the run would have still scored, but why weren't we in position, right? And he was saying how when a pop fly like that goes out to the outfield, that his eyes don't follow the ball. His eyes go directly down to his infielders to make sure that they're all positioning themselves correctly. And like, again, it's that kind of thing right now that makes it feel like not only are you sloppy with the basically the plays that they've ran over time and time again in practice, but it feels like a certain level of laziness too. Like, this malaise from this losing streak is carrying over to affect their play, and they're getting to a point where they're feeling like we are as fans, where they're like, fuck it, nothing is ever going to go right for us again. Like, as overreactionary as that is, we know that's not the truth. We know this team is going to win more baseball games. We say that kind of as a joke because of how we feel, but we don't want the team feeling that way, and we don't want the players to start like just half-assing it because they feel like everything is gone fucking in a downward spiral and there's no point to even trying anymore, because that's when those little mistakes pile up and end up with like this series where they just come up short in both games.
Yeah, it's not the same like hyper competent Diamondbacks team that we've grown accustomed to watching. And we've talked about that, a little bit already over the last couple weeks. Like, this isn't the Diamondbacks team that's doing everything right and, kind of forcing opposing teams to make mistakes. This is a Diamondbacks team that's kind of, in a bizarre fashion, like finding every way they can seemingly, right, in order to kind of get in their own way in winning some of these games. You just see time and time again every single day. This isn't the Diamondbacks doing everything right, not just getting the results, although there is a lot of that. They're not doing everything right. Like, this isn't the brand of baseball that we're used to watching. And it's gone on for so long at this point that you have to wonder, was that really ever like the Diamondbacks' true identity? Or were they, maybe doing that a little bit more than they were really capable of doing it early in the season? And ultimately, you're kind of seeing that balance out, or maybe the Diamondbacks are just sort of like all other teams where they have their days when, they're flawless and they're making all the right reads and they're solid on the base paths. They're not making any defensive mistakes. And they're also having days like this where, things just don't really look all that great. So yeah, there's a lot of things to figure out here for the Diamondbacks. One thing I do want to point out, Merrill Kelly said after the game, I asked a question, is it kind of a silver lining for you guys that somehow you're still only 2.5 games out of a wild card spot? And Merrill gave a pretty resounding yes to that question. He basically said that he doesn't think that guys in the clubhouse are disengaging or hanging their heads too much at this point, because they know that they're still right there. And there's a lot of baseball left to be played in this season. And they're still really close because a lot of the other teams that they're competing with in this race have also really struggled recently. So I think that's a really big factor in all this. The Diamondbacks don't really feel like their back is totally up against the wall yet, but they probably should start playing like it, because time is running out for this baseball team. Even so,
almost even part of the problem. Like, at this point, it's like, if you keep doing, if you don't have to try and you're not really being punished for it in the standings, like, the sense of urgency might not creep in the way it needs to.
It is weird. Yeah,
I don't know about that. The way that they've dropped so much.
I mean, it should. I'm not saying it shouldn't, but I'm just saying, like you said, they look at the standings, they're still very much in it. Like, it might not. That urgency might not be there. To the
I don't know if they were 7.5 games back from wild card spot, if that would cause them to try any harder than they are now. Like I said, it feels like they're already kind of giving up at times on field. So like that part kind of creeps in and makes you think that, I don't know. It's frustrating to watch this team. Man. I literally don't know, because in watching this team at times, Jesse and I went through it in the press box today. Shawn and I discussed it a couple of times here watching the game. It's just incredible right now with this stretch of bad luck that they're going through, how so much is not going their way. And I mean, we talked in the past about when they were better, when they were winning games, and a lot of things. It's not like they were perfect. It's just things were kind of bouncing their way at times. Like, they were getting a couple of lucky breaks here and there. Maybe they were getting a ball to go over the fence, but like lately, any hard hit ball that they get kind of falls dead at the warning track. Like, it's just, the only thing right now that you can really count on is pitching. And even like I said, with Miguel Castro giving up that 1 run yesterday, yes, the bullpen only gave up 1 run, but that bullpen run ended up being really critical. So even though the pen has been okay at times, we saw in this series them falter and basically cause the team to lose the game in both games. Like, you could argue that the offense didn't muster up enough, but there's just a lot of things going wrong for this team right now, and I don't know what the answer is. Jesse, the San Diego Padres, though, they're not playing very good baseball right now, and hopefully, it's definitely a race. I mean, it feels like the Diamondbacks are kind of the carcass at this point that the vultures are circling, right? But they need to figure out a way to turn this thing around so that they can go back to being the hunter and not the hunted. It feels like. And I don't even know if they're the hunted. They're just the delicacy on the side of the road that the scavengers are picking off on.
The carcass that the predators are avoiding because they know it's diseased. No one wants anything to fucking do with it.
This series is really important against the Padres, and the Diamondbacks get the Padres again, for a 4-game series next weekend. This is a team that's actually right behind you, right? It's a little different than facing the Giants or the Dodgers, where obviously these games are important and you want to win these games. But at this point, unfortunately for the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers and Giants have pulled away so much that it's not really even very consequential in the standings at this point. Whether you win or lose these games from a head-to-head perspective. Obviously, the D-backs are, still losing some ground in the wild card race as a result. But yeah, the Padres are a team where, you've got 7 games against the San Diego Padres happening, in the next week and a half.
Yeah,
if you really, blow it in those 7 games and continue to play like this, the Padres are going to jump the Diamondbacks in the standings real quick. And then you're going to have yet another team that you're looking up at in the wild card, as well as, some of these other teams, if the Diamondbacks continue to struggle, probably gaining a little bit of ground on them as well. So, it is sort of miraculous that they're only 2.5 out at this point, but you're kind of at the point where okay, you really got to start winning games now, or else this race is going to start to get away from the Diamondbacks a lot more quickly than it has up to this point.
It's that idea of getting up tomorrow means that you can look at this of one of two ways, just like you could look at any day.
Mm-hmm.
Do I view this positively or do I view this negatively? We were in the driver's seat at one point. Do I dwell on where we were at, especially considering how long the baseball season is, or do I focus, like you said, on the fact we're only 2.5 games back and that we are still in the hunt? And, again, I can't stop thinking of Paul Sewald's comments yesterday when he said the reason why you win the games you do in April and May and June is so that you can play meaningful games in August and September. And whether you want to believe it or not, as a Diamondbacks fan, the D-backs are playing meaningful games right now. It sucks that they're not winning. It sucks that they've lost 8 in a row. And I think as a fan, you can be mad, you can be frustrated, you can be all of that. But come tomorrow, they're still only 2.5 games back in a wild card race where they actually have a lot of games still left against the teams that are near them, in front of them.
Shit goes right. They could be a wild card team by the end of the weekend. Obviously, I'm not by no means expecting that. They've done nothing to suggest that.
But you're absolutely right.
From the pure math standpoint.
You've made that point before in the past. Like, if they come in and they win this series, all of a sudden everything changes, right? And that could have been said about this series with the Dodgers. I'm not going to try to fucking sugarcoat it and be like, oh, they were so close to winning. But they hung with the Dodgers, and they really did have an opportunity to win both of these baseball games, and they blew it. And if they did win both, this would be such a different situation than what we're staring at right now. But now it truly does feel like, when the fuck are they going to ever win a baseball game again?
I mean, it's annoying because we keep saying it, but it also keeps being true. Like, they do. This is like the 3rd straight series where, like, they kind of need to win this series, but like
I already declared them dead.
They're still here.
I already declared them dead.
Like, they're still here, and so you can't ignore, like, getting to your point about how, like, they are playing important baseball games. Like, you have to acknowledge the fact that they are still very much in it. Like, these games matter because they're still fucking right there.
If you are 8 games, 9 games back at this point of the season, I understand you starting to be like, that's fucking over, right? But even the Mets, with how poor they've played, with how bad their team has been, with the fucking concessions they made at the trade deadline, even the Mets are still kind of in it. So it's like, you just play baseball and you never know what's going to happen. And you really can't be worried about the pieces you do have and don't have, because honestly, I see a lot of people throwing a lot of shade at Jace Peterson and Tommy Pham, including my co-host and co-hosts, and not Jesse, but producers and other people that I might know in this room.
Me?
No, you're a saint, Damon. But I mean, arguably so. They have not been very good since they came over here. But part of the problem is, in my opinion, at least, my humble opinion, is that they are so bad that these new guys feel the need to come over and just do too much. Tori talked about that today, and I really do think that's a problem, not just for them, but for the whole team. I really do think, though, that they try to come over and be like the guy that's going to be the spark plug for this team, and then they're not, and things aren't going their way, and like, then you just try even harder to be that guy that gets things going for this team. And baseball is just one of those games where it doesn't feel like you can ever try harder and get better results. You can be, you can try to get more fundamentals. You can try to make sure you're doing everything, your job and everything. But at the end of the day, when you're trying harder at the plate, usually you're not going to find positive results. Jesse, I did want to ask you about some injury updates, because I do know that Zach Davies is relatively close to returning to the starting rotation, as well as potentially
Come save the day, Zach.
Gabby Moreno in the near future, maybe here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think Gabby Moreno is playing in an Arizona Complex League game tomorrow. He's supposed to catch 5 innings in that game. Then he would be removed. D-backs will probably do something along the lines of letting him catch 5 innings, give him a day off, catch 7 innings, give him a day off, have him catch a full game, give him a day off, that kind of a thing. It'll probably be a gradual ramp up. Torrey hasn't really given any specifics on where exactly the Diamondbacks will go from there. But yeah, I mean, he's starting to get back into games slowly, and I do think it's possible you'll see him, within the next couple of weeks. Zach Davies is pitching for Reno tomorrow. He came out of his bullpen session yesterday well, and I think he's expected to maybe get up to 70, 75 pitches, something like that, in that start for Reno. Theoretically, the Diamondbacks could just go from that rehab start tomorrow, talking about Thursday, and then just bring him back into the rotation in the big leagues next week. We don't know yet if they're planning to do that, though. They might opt to give him one more rehab outing. I know everyone is dying to see Zach Davies in the Diamondbacks starting rotation again. So clearly he's the solution to all of these problems. I know that's exactly what everyone's thinking right now.
Everybody just wants him to be DFA'd by text message, Jesse. That's really what everybody wants. But
listen, at this point, I'll take Zach Davies. I'll take Mad Bum, like anything different.
Anybody that
just
can help
literally
this team
anything.
do
Mad Bum can come
right?
in and get beef with an umpire, get ejected, and that's maybe the spark we need.
I have nothing. I have nothing to say about that.
I have nothing either.
Yeah, you can't leave it to Jesse to be the one to build off of my nonsense.
You're right. That's my fault. Jesse, we will see you back here in studio tomorrow. One question. I don't know if people were mocking me in the chat, because I know I ask you this often, but it really did feel like a lot of people in the chat tonight wanted to know what the mood was like in the clubhouse, what the vibe was like in the clubhouse. I mean, does it? I know Torrey doesn't want them to get super down on themselves. I know Torrey likes that they keep it light and that they're whatever, but did you pick up on a sense of kind of dread in the locker room?
I don't know if I would say dread. We only talked to Merrill after the game. We didn't talk to anyone else. So there were only a few guys in there. Didn't get to see a whole lot, but I would say pretty typical after a loss. I think at a certain point, like when you're on a crazy long losing streak, like the Diamondbacks are right now at 8 games, I don't know if it really serves your team to like gradually get more and more negative after losses, like every single day, to the point where you're literally like at a funeral or something after the game. Like, I don't know if teams really want to devolve into that. And I don't think the Diamondbacks have. It's definitely not the same feel earlier in the season when the D-backs were 10 to 15 games over 500 and they would lose a game. Then it was very clearly still pretty light. You could tell the guys were still, we didn't get this one, but we're still in a good spot overall. Yeah. That is worn off. I don't really feel that anymore in there. Well, granted, we're only in there for a few minutes after every game, so it's hard to read. But yeah, I would say, somewhat similar to what we've seen in the last week.
I will say this. This is one thing I've said during this losing streak, and then we'll let you get out of here. But I feel like, people want to see you as a player when your team is going through this, or as a manager or anybody involved with the team. They want to see emotion out of you. They want to see you angry that the team is going through this. But one thing I've realized is that, like, when I kind of did this at for a team covering a Diamondbacks team that was way worse, and I had to do it multiple seasons, writing team recaps, covering this team, it was easier for me to not care about this team. It was easier for me to not think that this team was a contender or a playoff team in any way, because the losses didn't really seem to affect me as much. And I'm just coming at this from a personal standpoint. But I'm talking about like the 2020 season, the 2021 season, things like that, right? Now that we do what we do here, now that we kind of now that my role is a little different and I get to kind of cheer for the team a bit more, but more importantly, the way that they started out this season, the losses now hurt emotionally so much.
Yeah, it's a new kind of pain.
And like the fact that they're going through what they're going through hurts so much that like at times I almost feel like it's easier to just lose a bunch of games and not even be in the hunt, not even be 2.5 games back in the wild card, because it's just kind of like business, right? We either won,
dog
we
shit
lost,
is so much better than
but
being
whatever.
mediocre.
I mean, there's not like this feeling of heartbreak in it.
Yeah.
Right now, there is such a dramatic, like not only do we want to see them snap the losing streak that they're currently on, but like these 2 games to the Dodgers, they were heartbreaking. I felt like they were heartbreaking, and it was just such a miserable way to lose against not only your biggest rival, but also lose during a time where you need to win so badly just to kind of restore order.
Yeah, I mean, the Diamondbacks had second and third, nobody out in this game, and their top 3 hitters all got out in a row, right? 2 of them via strikeout. The Diamondbacks had first and second, nobody out in this game. They popped up into a double play. Like, the Dodgers, they were held completely scoreless in this game outside of the 8th inning when with 2 outs, Freddie Freeman comes up and doubles. And before you know it, the Dodgers have the bases loaded. And then David Peralta is, doing the trade.
I'm angry all over again. Like hearing you describe it. I don't know why is he describing it?
I'm simply validating what you're talking about right now, which is that the Diamondbacks are not losing games in easy ways for fans to accept. Like you have a young starting pitcher go out, he gets shelled.
Mm-hmm.
The offense has kind of an off night. They're able to score a couple runs when they have opportunities, but maybe they fall a little bit short. I think there are ways of losing that are much easier for fans to accept than the ways the Diamondbacks are losing right now. It feels like this team is getting in its own way. It feels like they're trying to lose, even though I know that's not the case, right? I understand fans who are feeling that right now. It really has been just an absolutely brutal stretch for the Arizona Diamondbacks, where not only are they losing every single day, but they're losing in these kinds of ways that are just really hard for people to swallow.
Piece of Yoshi says Jesse simply exists to rile everyone up, and I think that's the perfect way to end this. But Jesse,
I thought I was like the calming voice.
No, you're the antagonizer. You pissed us all
Jesse.
off, is what you did. But we'll see you in studio tomorrow, buddy. Thanks, and get home safe and drink plenty of water.
All right, guys. See ya.
See ya.
I don't even want to talk about this game anymore. It had nothing to
here.
do with Jesse. I just didn't want to talk to Jesse anymore about baseball because I'm so disgusted.
Did you
with what happened tonight.
D-backs baseball? Did you see the excuse that the White Sox gave out for the Keenan thing?
No.
So apparently that stuff comes from like a feed from Major League Baseball, that information.
Yeah.
And the Yankees, this is their explanation. The Yankees have 2 number 93s on their 40-man roster.
Get the fuck out of here, you dumb fucking liars.
It caused a shortage.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Some of our CHGO White Sox guys saying they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt, which I
don't
agree with,
believe them either.
Interesting.
Well, it is what it is. Cog says he want to go to bed, so we're going to let Cogs go to bed. But before we go, we want to make sure Cogs takes care of himself. Cogs, get yourself some great gear from Pins and Aces, because Pins and Aces makes great gear. That's what they do. You guys are complimenting my Roosevelt shirts. I would replace all of this with all of the wonderful gear that Pins and Aces has, because they are it's so light. They're so stretchy. They're so comfortable. Like golfers, sure, they deserve it, but all of us deserve it. So make sure to check out Pins and Aces. It's the official golf apparel partner of PHNX and ALLCITY. It's a family-owned golf and apparel business. They make amazing polo shirts, great patterns, great designs, and they are so comfortable. They also have hats, golf bags, beer sleeves, and so much more. You can check them out at pinsandaces.com. You can use our promo code of PHNX to receive 15% off your first order, and you will also get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. Also, speaking of great gear and gear built to last, check out our friends at Shady Rays. We're not throwing shade tonight. I mean, we could throw shade at the Arizona Diamondbacks team, but we're not doing that tonight. But I'm telling you, if you live in Arizona, go get yourself some gear built to last. You need yourself a fine pair of premium polarized shades, just like you need yourself a good pair of shorts. I was talking about how in the press box at Diamondbacks games, shorts are somehow frowned upon.
Yeah.
There's no dress code. There's
but...
no dress code, but they're frowned upon, right? And look, it's 115 degrees.
Yeah,
I am not wearing jeans if there's no dress code.
And I'm gonna look better than everyone else there anyways.
That's right.
So
we have really nice legs over here. We don't show them off because of this table, but and that has nothing to do with sunglasses. But my point
that's part of why I'm the best looking in the press box.
That's very true. But Shady Rays has incredible sunglasses. If you're not the best looking in the press box, they will make you the best looking in the press box. They offer a world-class product. It's just as good as the expensive sunglasses without the cost. And of course, they also offer the most insane protection plan in all of eyewear. You're not getting this from the expensive brands, right? You're not getting them to back your sunglass purchase with their lost and broken replacement plan, where if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they will send you out a brand new pair. No questions asked, no judgment, no shaming of you. You just get a free pair of sunglasses to replace the ones you lost or broke. And that's something that we can all relate to because we break or lose our sunglasses all the time. What's happening?
No, I was gonna wait for it, but before we get out of here, there's been too much Pokemon talk in the chat.
There is a lot of Pokemon talk. I don't get it.
I was gonna ask you who your favorite Pokemon was, but
we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, that's a podcast in itself. But also, if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can return them or exchange them for a free pair or your money back within 30 days. They, again, always have your back no matter what. You can shop their entire collection here in Arizona at Kierland Commons. They have a full-stop shop for all things Shady Rays, so make sure to check that out. And, of course, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And last but not least, when I get home tonight, I have not eaten dinner. I mean, you guys saw, I had my Sonoran dog, but that was at like 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night now. I need to have second dinner.
As do I, yeah.
Right?
I had my first dinner when I was producing Cardinals earlier.
Correct.
So it was like 4:30.
Yeah. Right. Same thing, right? This guy pointed out to me there's no better feeling than when you have factor meals in your refrigerator waiting for you to come home.
Like I didn't realize how big of a source of stress it was not having food at my fully stocked fridge, because I would be like, I'd go home and it'd be like, I'm either going to spend a bunch of money to get food delivered, or I'm tired and I want to go home. I'm going to have to go out of my way to stop something.
Or just stop it. Like, okay, first of all,
get in my car. I
don't even know what fast food restaurants are even open after 11 o'clock at night when we leave the studio.
I don't drive past a good selection, and I'm not going out of my damn way. Yeah. I want to go home.
Yeah, and I want to eat good food. And Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. It's never frozen. It's always fresh. One of the baller parts about Factor meals is it always comes with like a garlic butter part of it, or a sauce or something, right? Like
it's
like a pork chop can just be a pork chop no matter how good it's cooked, but if you put a fucking bomb ass like sauce on it, dog. I mean, you know what I mean?
Like over there. Hey, check out the smoothies.
The smoothies are great too. Yeah, the smoothies.
That's my favorite thing from Factor.
I mean, and of course, if you're too busy to cook yourself a meal, all it takes is 2 minutes for you to heat up a Factor meal. You can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons that they have, including breakfast items. They have snacks. They have easy wellness boosts. And like he said, they have shakes. They have smoothies. They have also cold pressed juices. So whatever you need to stay healthy. And that's the biggest thing, right? Like,
yeah, you don't feel like shit after you eat it?
Yeah, at 11 o'clock at night, do you really think I'm getting a healthy meal when I leave here and drive home?
You are now.
And get Factor? No, I'm not. I'm not if I get fast food, but if I get Factor, for sure, I am getting, a meal approved and prepared by chefs and dietitians, and each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied, all while meeting your goals, right? So again, This is all about trying to live your best life, and part of living your best life is eating as healthy as you can and enjoying what you eat. And Factor does both of those things for you. So head to factormeals.com/PHNX D-backs 50 and use code PHNX D-backs 50 to get 50% off on your order. That's code PHNX D-backs 50 at factormeals.com/PHNX D-backs 50 to get 50% off. My buddy Jared, he just had surgery recently, and I picked him up today. He asked me about Factor. He was like, "What's the deal with the Factor? Are those really as good?"
I mean, yeah, if you're stuck at home, that's probably
it's wild when your commercial ad reads just bleed into your real life, and you're just like, "No, Factor is legit."
That's what we do here.
It's legitimately one of my favorite things. So make sure to check them out. But we thank you guys for being here. We thank you for being Arizona Diamondbacks fans, whether you are one of those or not. We're just classifying you. Mo, he's a Diamondbacks fan now. The guy from San Francisco, Giants fan, he's a Diamondbacks fan. You're all Diamondbacks fans
Pokemon
now. Who is my favorite Pokemon?
Is it a who?
Who?
I said, what's your favorite Pokemon? And
What's
said,
my Pokemon? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm going. What? Why does it feel generic to go?
Like a starter Pokemon, or like what?
Like a starter Pokemon.
I don't think so. My favorite growing up was Onyx, just because Brock always rocked with Onyx in the old Pokemon cartoons, and Brock was my favorite. So yeah. I'm not a huge Pokemon guy, though. I can't lie.
I'm not either. Like I feel like Pokemon were kind of past my time.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Then just say Pikachu.
I don't want to say Pikachu because that feels a little lame. What is yours? Can I start with yours?
I said Onyx.
Oh, Onyx is your straight.
I'll go with Squirtle for a starter, and non-starter, I'll go with Torkoal.
Oh, I mean, if we're going starters, then it's Charmander.
Charmander's dope.
Easy.
I don't.
We've been here for an hour and a half.
We could
Pikachu, and
I don't want to say
Pikachu.
Well, let's go Pikachu. I'm going Charizard. I know it's not a starter one, but Charizard, that's an expensive card. So we thank you guys, of course, for being here on our Pokemon podcast. That's what we're pivoting to from this point. We're not covering the Arizona Diamondbacks anymore.
Yu-Gi-Oh dog. That shit was my jam. What? Blue Eyes White Dragon back?
Yeah.
It's time to duel.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Beyblade 2. Damn. Get us out of here before someone brings up another toy.
I mean, this is exact. No, we're doing an hour and a half on a loss. That's what we're doing, David.
On a Wednesday. It's not even Thursday.
I'm at Twitter.
David's gonna get up out of here sooner or later, and the show's not gonna end.
David's just gonna end it without us actually doing an outro. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. This man is at Shawn_DePaz. Damon is at Damon. ImpatientDog.com. No, it's a Damon Dog with a DAWG. Of course, we are Damon's dogs, but all roads lead to at PHNX_D-backs. I'm sorry. I was trying to get us out of here fast. The barking is a delay. Now look at how much.
Okay, we get it, Derek.
We're all off task again. Yeah, follow us. PHNX_D-backs, PH_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Do all of that. We thank you guys for showing up. We thank you guys for liking the D-backs. I don't know why you do. I don't know if they'll ever win a game again, but maybe they will. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's really not that fun.
It's not as fun as Pokemon.
When you watch this team.